The smoke has finally cleared. The smoke has finally cleared in this historic couple of events that has happened in music and hip hop in general. A lot of records back and forth. This is not a hip hop podcast. A lot of records back and forth. A lot of scorched earth. A lot of scorched earth has happened. There's a lot of scorched earth in the environment right now. There are residual effects. There are ripples that have happened throughout the whole industry. Ripple effects. I was highly entertained, but I was also highly concerned. Now, I'm not really going to talk about the concern aspect because as of this recording, there are things that has happened that seem like there is some street involvement, fan involvement. I don't know, but people have been hurt. People have been sent to the hospital. So I will not expound on that. I will merely expound on certain things that should happen after, as far as musically, in regards to this so-called beef that has occurred. I've seen online that there are either fans or people within the OVO camp that has attempted to make or give Drake some type of way to revive himself and re-enter the beef and try to win it. I'm here to tell him that there's no need for that. The battle that you have right now is not about winning a beef. That has already happened, and you are determined to be the loser of this back and forth musically. So many elements that caused you to lose this. So many misdirections, missteps. It was masterful chess played by Kendrick Lamar. Masterful chess. This is not your battle right now. Your next battle is your battle. And that battle is to keep the fans that you already have right now and to potentially gain new ones, but not the way that you have been doing it before. You say, hey, what you mean by that? There's a conversation happening right now that's stating that you don't know your identity of your music. Kendrick has showed his identity with his region and with his style, used it masterfully, gained a new audience, gained the crown as somebody who has defeated the superstar of hip hop, the pop star, the rapper turned pop star, the golden child, the golden boy. He has been defeated through impeccable planning, amazing rapping, amazing angles being taken. This man has won. And if you're looking at it objectively, it is a clear victory because you see too many missteps on one side and too much right choices on the other side. I offer you this solution. Whoever's in your OVO camp, whoever, even if Drake is listening, which I highly doubt, but this will seem as a very plausible plan for you in your camp. Just like in courtrooms when they bring out certain trials and documents that happened in previous trials to win a current charge that's happening to them, they might bring out Roe v. Wade or something like that. Like, look, this is what happened in Roe v. Wade, so you guys let this occur. So we're saying that if you don't let this occur, this will be unconstitutional, and you'll have to overturn what happened on Roe v. Wade if you overturn what we're trying to do right here, right now. You need to look at Rick Ross and you need to study what he did during his beef with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. You need to study that. You need to go in the back, get off the internet. Stop doing these internet games. It's over. Don't go on your stories and post up. You need to get back to you. Rick Ross, he was losing the beef to 50 Cent pretty clearly during the time that it was happening. 50 Cent was just beating him in all angles. Rick Ross said, all right, that's enough internet games. What we gonna do is this. I'm gonna gain my respect through my music. I'm gonna gain my respect through my strongest suit. I'm gonna put out the best album, the best music I possibly could with my sound. And even if they think I lost the battle to you, they're gonna frame this moment. They're gonna frame my music right now at this time as the best music they have heard. It's gonna be some of the most classic shit in my collection. When they go back through my catalog, they're gonna be like, yo, this time he was beefing with him, but he put out some of the best album material I've ever heard in my life. Drake, you need to take that method right now. You have lost your identity in your music. You have taken too many other people's flows. The one thing that nobody has talked about in the Heart Part 6 is that in the Heart Part 6 was vintage Drake. That was vintage Aubrey Graham. Me being a music fan, even though this is not a music podcast, the conversation in this current episode of Think Pieces and Conversation is your strongest weapon is your identity. That's your strongest weapon. Your strongest weapon is who you are originally. No more petty games. It's over, dog. It's over. Your next battle is your biggest battle right now. Your next battle is to solidify who you are, even though your name is tainted by this loss. Your name is tainted by the allegations. Your name is tainted by the ego and pride of you and your fans. What you did on the Heart Part 6, stylistically, flow-wise, that's your identity. That's your identity. Nobody in the world could do what you did as far as rapping wise on the Heart Part 6. You need to go back into the embassy or somewhere. Actually, get out of Canada or wherever that embassy is. You get out of Canada. Go somewhere for a year, maybe 2. Make them miss you. Don't drop nothing. You work on yourself, your mind. Work on yourself as a man. Build on yourself. You got a lot going on. You really didn't have time to build on the man that you are. A lot of things that was used as weapons against you showed a lot of flaws in who you are and how you maneuver and how you curate your relationships and how you focus on on other people's women that you don't like. You take their women. Nobody wants to be around a guy that's constantly trying to hook up with their girl, especially if they're considered friends. You trying to get their number. Not saying this is something that you do. I'm just saying the talk around town is that you're a nasty man, dog. You need to go back into the lab. Forget all the gossip. Forget all the whether they're true or false on the allegations that somehow you say that you put up as bait, which backfired. Because it don't matter if you put it up as bait if most of the people agree with it. If the weapon that you gave Kendrick to be used against you was not supposed to hurt you, he sharpened that sword so crazy, pause, that it was able to cut into you and make you bleed out. You need to go back to the music. You need to study the Hard Part 6. You need to study the subject matter and how you could use those type of flows and those cadences and create introspective Drake. Create some of your best music you possibly can by tapping into exactly who you are through your identity. Kendrick closed the casket on this beef by tapping into his city. He tapped into his city. That's what he did. He made the people. I never tried to quit walk. Well, I ain't gonna say I never tried. I ain't did or try to do a crip walk in a very long time. When I heard Not Like Us, I wanted to do it and I tried to do it and I was alright at it, but the song was California. That's LA. That's Compton. He tapped how he was talking, how he was saying the words, how he was ad-libbing. He brought his region into this to make the battle undebatable. To turn the song into an anthem. To turn your diss record and the diss against you into an anthem. And he used his region. He used the sayings of his city, the lingo that he grew up on. He don't really use that type of lingo in his music. He crushed you with his identity. He crushed you with his identity. You take the Rick Ross method. You have lost the music beef. You lost this beef. You lost it. Now you get to bring your fans back through making great music and not making trendy music. For the past couple years, since after Scorpion, you are making a lot of trendy. You're not dictating the field, such as Joe Budden has stated on his podcast. You're not dictating the field. You're the biggest dude on the field. When you're the biggest, you dictate the field. That's what Beyonce's doing. That's what Jay does every time when he comes out. That's what Kanye does every time when he comes out. They dictate how this thing is going to go. You too big to play trends with how other people do shit. You go back to your identity. That is your game plan for the next battle, which is what Kendrick stated, the battle with yourself. You go back and you find your identity. That shit you did in the Hard Part 6, amazing. Maybe the raps, the content of the raps caused your death in the beef. The content of the raps ended the beef. And you ultimately dictated your adversary Kendrick to being the winner. I saw a man that rapped very well. A man that found his identity. The man that penned something beautiful together. Even though Like I said, the contents of it cause you to lose. If you do that, same flows, all those flows and the intricate ways of rapping, you do that with the fly shit that you could talk, the business shit that you could talk, the money shit that you could talk, the introspective shit that you could talk. You gain back your fans that you have lost. You might gain more fans. This is how you become a legend. But hey, you ain't gotta listen to me, cause if your ego and pride hasn't shown you, is that your ego, pride, and arrogance has led to your what many might consider to be your fall. It's gonna take a long time for you to fall. You are very big, too big to fail almost. But if you take this game plan that I've just said, which is pretty much very simple, not very simple, but pretty straightforward, you find yourself and you put it in the music. This was another episode of Think Pieces in Conversation. Your identity, finding your identity is what wins the next battle. I'm out of here.